Oh my gosh. I do this thing where every episode I start, I go, oh my gosh. As if I'm shocked that I have pressed the record button and it did exactly what I intended it to. Like it's like a revelation that I've had.
I
I've
think it
done,
is, though.
it is. I've done so many of these, and at this point, I don't know. It's just maybe it's the excitement of being like, yes, another one, DJ Khaled. Very that. Hello, good morning. Today is a very special day. I forgot to turn the AC on in my home until seconds ago, so it is hotter than dick in my apartment. And by that I mean it's like 70 degrees, which is like 90 drag degrees. But it doesn't matter. It's gonna cool down any second now. Don't call the fire department. I've already called them. I'm joined by the legendary and flawless Joseph Shepard. Hi.
Hi, I'm glad you said legendary and flawless. That's like the best compliment
Oh,
ever.
well, I say it to everybody. So
Well,
no,
I'm the one of today then.
I do like I'll do like a legendary, iconic, sex symbol. Lots of adjectives. How are you? First of all, how is life?
Life is okay. I think it's really funny you said the thing about like a 70 degrees is like a drag queen's like 90 degrees. So I must be a drag queen in itself too, because like my thermostat at my place always has to be like below 70 in order for me to be able to function.
I'm most comfortable when it's set to 69, which is always funny to me anyway. But like I've tried so many different temperatures and I sleep the best at 69. So I don't make the
It's
rules.
always the way to go. It's always better to be colder than hotter because you can always add layers, but you cannot always take more and more off.
No, because eventually you reach a point where you're like, okay, do I just get the cheese grater and start like going to town? Because that's where I'm at. I get so hot at night.
It's
And,
awful.
you know, these are the hard hitting topics that we discuss here. Hey, girl. So, Joseph Marie Shepard. Also, have you noticed that the word Marie is like the perfect middle name for every single name?
That is actually a good idea. I didn't think about that.
Everybody, like Barack Marie Obama, like,
Yeah.
maybe.
Michelle Marie Obama, Britney
uh,
Marie Spears.
yes.
Yeah.
Lady Marie Gaga.
Yes. And see, when you add it to Lady Gaga's name, it sounds like she's actually more sophisticated too.
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
it
she
sounds
already
she's
has like
a
seven
queen.
middle names. She's
Yeah.
like Stephanie, Joanne, Elizabeth, this, that, and the other, Marie, Germananta. I cannot. You're in LA, right?
Yeah, I'm in LA.
How is that? I'm also in LA, so I feel the pain.
I feel like people just like, especially during this time, I feel like there's like people that are very, very responsible. And then, like, oh, let's break this down. The way that we have different types of gays, like twinks, bears, otters, like that's how we do with mask and
Yeah.
like with social distancing. We have like the scaredy cats, and then we have like the I don't give a fucks. Like so it's like it like keeps going so big, and like you can like I think I've muted so many people on Instagram because I'm
Oh
like
yeah.
I can't with you people. Like there's like a humongous rager that seems like it's going on every single night. I'm like, one, why wasn't I invited? Two, why aren't you wearing masks? Like, come on.
I can't reject your invitation if you don't invite me. Like
Right? I need to be
yeah.
able to say no.
I I feel the same way. I was never like a huge social person anyway. I usually have like one or two close friends. We do dinners and like that's it. I was never in the club unless I was getting paid to be there. So it's just not my thing anyway. But I'm seeing a lot of like, oh, we're just gonna go to Puerto Vallarta for the weekend. I have a friend, and I'm sure he doesn't listen. I don't give a fuck if he does. He's stupid. He was first of all, flights are so cheap. He's like, oh my god, flights are cheap. I'm gonna go here, and I'm gonna like, you're gonna fly your Spirit airline to Puerto Vallarta, then to Miami, then to some other place, and party shirtless with all these boys. And I was just like, I mean, that's it. R.I.P.
I think that's the vacuum. I think they're vacuuming the halls right now. Don't know why. They never ever do
Oh,
it. So I guess today is just the perfect day to do it.
yep.
Yeah, but like when I interviewed Jada Essence Hall on Sunday, I was nervous as hell because that was the first interview that I am doing that was outside of like that was actually was in person for the past like 6 months. So
Yes,
that was
that was
like
at the Dragon Drive thing.
yeah.
How was that? Did you
Yeah.
watch?
I went Friday night.
So you were there.
And huh?
So you were there.
Yeah, I went Friday night to check it out because what we were going to do is we were going to take the whole piece and make it this whole thing about like the change of times to like, you know, and kind of do like a cool intro and like, oh, like these people are like driving to this thing, like they're taking temperature checks and they're doing X, Y, and Z. And like, this is how the times have changed. And then I get there and like nobody scanned my ticket. There were no temperature checks. Like you just drove straight through. And then for what people were paying to, like to be paying $100 and something to be in the back and like see like a what would they call like a Polly Pocket on the stage?
Oh
Like
no.
it was, and then like the way that they advertised it too, you would think that the screens were going to be humongous. The screens were probably like a 23-inch television screen. It was the stage
Oh.
that they were performing on was smaller than like the stage at Mickey's. Like it was pretty small.
Yeah, I was gonna go, but then I was just like, I know how people are, and I know if they say, "Oh, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that." When you get, first of all, the Rose Bowl is a shit show for parking anyway. You can expect to be there for an hour from the time you get to your car to just getting out of that place. So there was no way my gay ass was gonna be there. And then half the shows were in the sun, like in the daytime. No queen wants to be out in the daytime like that.
No queen wants to be out in the daytime like that. And then they had like all these performers, and then it ended up be going from like 12 to like 5, and then the show ended up being apparently like 45 minutes long. I would not know. I left after 10 minutes. Don't want to
I
say
can't.
that.
I wanted to. My boyfriend was like, "We need to do this. We should just go to get out of the house." And I was just like, "There's no way. People are not going to stay in their cars. People aren't going to want to wear masks. There's no way to social distance. It's just not in our nature. So let me just
Yeah.
stay home."
And that's exactly what happened. Like they had like a patrol that would like go through the lines of cars and like yell at people to put on their mask, and then they literally like put it on and take it right back off. So it was like,
Yeah.
you know.
If I were to go, I would have kept the windows up and I would have wanted to listen through like the AM thing, but I don't think they had that as an option, did they?
Oh, they did. They did.
Okay, so you
Yeah.
didn't have to put your windows down. You could have just sat in your car.
No, you
But
could have.
people,
Yeah.
you know,
And we
gays.
we tried like sitting on top of the car at one point, and I was like, you know what? Once we got in the car and turned the radio on and like lifted the windows up, that was so much of a better experience than being out and seeing everything.
And there's food. Like people get in line to buy food.
Yeah, and there was like a lemonade cart coming around. Who wants
No.
lemonade? Do people drink lemonade?
I can't. Like I'm all for the girls working, but some of them were like walking through the crowd without a mask.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, who approved them like this? And then the queens were not socially distanced. I don't know what the rules were as far as like them getting tested beforehand, but it's just so risky. I don't know.
Yeah, very risky. I think that's the biggest thing. Like, it's like, where do you put your risk and where do you draw your line up? Because also what goes through my head is like, I have extremely bad asthma. So I'm always afraid of like everything. Like, I don't go to the grocery store. Like, I'm like Uber Eats and Postmates and like, what can we do? Like, I'm not like, I'm beyond nervous. So like I said, like when I did Jayro on Sunday, that was the first time that I had been out, wore a mask all like as people were setting up, like they're setting up the camera, and like, it was only like 3 people in a room, and everybody was wearing masks, but it scared the absolute crap out of me.
It's terrifying. I get tested every single week because my medical insurance covers like a mail home, it's so fierce. It's like a white box that shows up, and I do this. I wash my hands. I do the swab myself. I put it in the vial and I put it in a baggie, and then I drop it off at FedEx, and I get my result in 48 hours. I just go online. So I literally
you're gonna have to give me the address or the
anywhere.
email or however that works afterwards.
Yes.
I want to figure out what that is.
I have a link.
Yeah. Give me the link. That's awesome.
Because it's the best. So, but that being said, I'm still not going out and like doing stuff. I mean, nobody invites me, but like, I wouldn't. I promise. I don't know. But I do miss like going to see a drag show. Like I miss going to the Abbey or Mickey's on a Monday when I'm not working, and like just seeing everybody and then getting sick of it in 10 minutes and getting upset and leaving.
And leave, yeah. I mean, but that's the thing. And that was always the good thing. Like you see it, you experience whatever you need to experience, and then you leave and you go home or go get another drink to the next bar and then go home.
I haven't had like a public meltdown of anxiety since like February. Like who am I? I haven't stormed angrily out of a club screaming in months. People are texting me asking if I'm okay. And the problem is, yes, I am okay. You have not lived if you're not a drag queen riddled with social anxiety at brunch on a Sunday at Flaming Saddles, struggling to get to your car because it's too hot and you can't breathe. Oh, gosh.
Oh, Flaming Saddles.
It's not like I'm in drag. People aren't nice to me if I'm not in drag. People don't give a fuck. That's the problem. If I'm in this, but oh my God, Jordan, hey bitch, work. I love this thing you do. Yes, queen, I worship. The next day, I like literally, or even an hour later, I go out and like just like jeans and a t-shirt and no makeup or anything. And it's just like, they don't even see me. They just walk right through me. So it's not the same.
Yeah.
I guess that's a testament to the transformation, maybe. Maybe that's a good thing.
Or a testament to drag queens in general.
Maybe. Because some of these bitches, they look the same. Like, I'm like, what?
Yeah.
You just put on a lash. But
yeah.
like, no, the minute I get, like, I can get from that main strip of West Hollywood to the 10 freeway. And by the time I enter the freeway, I'm gym shorts, Nikes, tank top on the way to the gym. Because the minute I get out of drag, I want nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
You won't catch me wearing a smoky eye to Walmart. No.
I mean, I wear smoky eyes to Walmart.
You're wearing one right now. It's stunning. It's just arresting.
Very much so. You have to. I was like, I got a brush.
That's crazy. Wait, when's your birthday?
March 20th. I'm a Pisces Aries cusp. That's what I've been told.
Well, no one's perfect.
No one's perfect, and Pisces are especially not perfect.
I'm an Aries, like centrally located Aries. Like, that's just what it is. I'm April 12th, so I'm like the most Aries person on the planet. So to tell anybody that their zodiac sign is shitty is the most Aries thing I could probably do. So, fuck your Pisces ass.
It's true though.
Pisces are great though. My boyfriend's a Pisces, and they're very nurturing and emotionally sound and aware and like sentimental in ways that Aries are not.
Is he a clinger?
He's more affectionate for sure than I am. I'm very like, don't touch me, just look at me. And he's very like, come on, let's like hold hands and let's love each other. And I'm just like, worship me, but leave me alone.
Worship me.
Yeah. Like,
wait, when you guys first started dating, because I am generally interested about this, when you first started dating, was it like, what was the dynamic like from a Pisces to an Aries? Because I always feel like my boyfriend's I don't even know what he is. He's something down the line.
What do you, you don't know his zodiac sign?
No,
You've seen this man's penis?
Yeah, but I don't know his zodiac sign.
Like, I haven't seen that either. Wait, when's his birthday?
April 26th.
Oh, so he might be a Taurus.
Yes, he is a Taurus.
Run. Hold on, let me see. My Face ID doesn't know who I am. I did a good job today. So you said April 26th?
Mm-hmm.
Oh gosh, I think that's, Taurus. All right.
Yeah.
Listen, pack your shit. Oh God.
Get it and go and run.
No, it's fine. My best friend in high school was a Taurus.
Do you find yourself not attractive, but like, is your friend group or the people that you associate with, are they all the same signs?
My boyfriend and I have one close friend, and they're both water signs, which is very interesting. I think as a fire sign, we crave the duality of it because it challenges us and it pushes us to be better. So I'm very much the person, like, I am loud, I'm eccentric, I'm the middle of the room. I'm that person. When I want something, I get it. I'm passionate. I'm literally just like a fire sign. But a Pisces or an Aquarius, maybe they like to go with the flow. They like to think things through. They appreciate their space. And I'm very just like, if I feel it, I say it. And they don't necessarily do that.
Yeah.
Which is great because I could use some of that. So
I feel like I'm in a reading now. Like, you're reading me down. I'm like, yes.
Call me now.
I agree. Wait, did you watch Canada Drag Race?
I'm obsessed with Canada's Drag Race.
It is so good. Judging, not so much. The girls are great.
Yeah. So okay, what was it? The first episode they had to make something with the boxes, and Anastasia Anakwe. I'm afraid to say that name 3 times fast because my furniture will start to float. She should have won.
Yeah. There's been a lot of like weird things. I'm like, how did that happen?
I love Lemon is one of my favorites.
I love Lemon.
I need her to pull that corset. Just tighten that shit and put on a tit. If you're not gonna wear a hip, you need a tit or a cinch.
Was she was the one last week who she killed her JoJo, but then when she came out, was that when she had like not the mesh, but it was like very tight, but she was very boxy, right?
Yeah. She wears a corset, but she wears like a long line corset, so it takes up the whole torso, which for drag, I guess it's all preference. I wear like the shorter corset that's maybe like this long, that you wear it centered on your feminine waist and you pull it as tight as you can so your body literally goes man shoulders, bam, and then it gives you like a little shelf where the hips go. But hers is just kind of like, so at that point, what's the point?
Mm-hmm.
And no
it's more
titty.
like a waist trainer, kind of.
Yeah, it's like a Spanx. It's an exaggerated Spanx. It's a Spanx with too big of an ego. I don't know. I scream at the TV. I'm like a straight man watching football. I'm just like, what? How do you go on the runway with your lace lifting? Let me check my shit though before I start.
Check before you get checked.
Imagine I say it and it just slides back.
Back all.
I wouldn't even edit it out at this point. Like, girl, I don't edit. Like, if something goes wrong, I'm just like, listen, I'm a person. Sorry.
I always find it very amusing. Like, there's certain things that I notice in queens, and the first thing is always the hairline. Like,
oh yeah.
Your hairline looks great and wonderful, and you blend it, and everything looks perfect. But then there's some people, and I'm like, what happened? What happened?
I think the secret is, aside from not being afraid to invest in like good shit for yourself, it's just hygiene. I clean my lace fronts between every single wear.
Interesting.
I use rubbing alcohol and dish soap, and until it is completely clear, I don't stop. So, I don't know.
I never even would have thought of that.
You're supposed to clean it. Like, it's a thing. But some people go multiple. Yeah, I'm glad you brought this up. I'd like to discuss your lace front. If you can even call that. It's literally Trump's wall across your forehead.
Right there.
Clocked. Oh my gosh.
Bam!
But sometimes, you know.
I always get amused by like, especially queens when you guys do interviews and stuff, and like the lighting. Like, I always am so surprised at like, because let me ask you a question. When you do day drag, is day drag different than night drag? Do you change anything in your look?
Yes. For nighttime and for things where there's artificial light, I paint heavier with the shadows, because if I were to go out during the daytime with these extremely harsh shadows on my face, it just looks like brown stripes. It looks like I put my head in the oven.
Got you.
If I have a choice, I'm going to choose artificial light any day. Like today, I just have my lights and I'm in control. But also, like, it requires a certain savvy to like stage lighting and photography. And like there's certain, like the base surface level of that skill set you should have, especially if you're going to be literally reshaping your face with paint.
That's so interesting.
It's like that old term, I think it's an Italian term called chiaroscuro that they teach you in art class. Chiaro, listen to Chiaro. That. Oh my God, I look like her in this horrific dress. My auntie Chiaro.
Chiaro.
It's very like that. It has to do with like light and dark giving the illusion of depth.
So when you first started out with drag, did you ever like go to different bars and stuff to see what their lighting looked like?
Not to see the lighting. I always did theater, so I was always really savvy with like the technical aspect of things. I dropped out of design school, went to theater school. So I do all the photography and video stuff. I do all the web design. I do the graphics. So, but when I went to theater school, I learned about lighting. And so I would go out and watch drag and I could see like, okay, this person looks like this. If they did this, maybe would have this illusion and the color theory of it all. So finally one day I was like, these bitches ain't shit. I could do this. And I did. And here I am, wearing flip-flops and boxers under this dress. So, you know, you can do it too. Just believe in yourself.
One time my friend put me in drag and I literally looked like your Jewish mother. Like, really? It was, yeah.
You have really soft features, so you could look very...
I think it has to do with the right person or the right makeup or finding the right look.
Yes.
Also, one time... every year for Halloween, I always go out as a different diva of the year. So It's like somebody who had some type of event. So like, did we have Halloween last year? Yeah, we did.
Yes, I remember.
I was going to do Ashley O, but too many people were doing Ashley O. I ended up changing to Dark Queen Duck. But before that, it was like, I did a Beyonce for the hold up. I did Sia, I did Miley, like the VMAs. I did all that stuff. And then I guess 2 or 3 years ago was the year, like the big year of like pregnant Kylie.
Oh, yeah.
So I did Kylie and I hired a queen to do my makeup. And I literally was like, I ended up keeping my sunglasses on the whole night.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
It's hard. A lot of people
it is hard.
Struggle with painting another face if you're so used to yours.
Exactly.
My headphone fell out. Oh, no. Call the police. I enjoy painting other people because I think it's a valuable skill. Also, like, everybody to a degree ends up looking like me.
Yeah.
So it's like you can put us side by side and you're like, oh yeah, you look like Jordan.
Do you think that that's hard? Because like, you know, when we watch Drag Race and they do the makeover challenge or whatever, and then they have to like make them look like themselves.
Yeah.
Do you think it's hard?
I think it's a skill that is learned. I also think it's really important for a queen to have a face. So Trixie Mattel has a face and Bianca Del Rio has a face. So if you do your face so well, you can put that face on any person and you know well enough how to translate it to any bone structure and to make it look like you.
Interesting.
I think that's the point of that challenge, is to establish your identity and your brand. It's not to see how good you are at makeup, it's to see how good you are at seeing yourself outside of yourself and projecting that onto something else. Literally sewing your label on the inside of someone else's t-shirt, if that makes sense.
I think you need to explain the Drag Race challenges to the girls.
Should I go? Just
I think it should be like Rue when she pops up on the screen and she's like, blah, 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 and then it's like you pop up and then you're like, actually guys, this is what you should do.
Oh my gosh. I'm the sign language interpreter who just goes like this.
The one on the bottom of the screen.
Yeah. And then when like what's that rapper who was rapping and he raps really fast and the sign language instructor was like a viral video of her.
Oh yeah, she was like, who was that? That was really funny.
I don't know. That was so good though.
It was the best.
Oh gosh. I think about that more often than I probably should. It's hilarious. I'm fascinated by television and the backstage aspect of it all. Because there's a science, there's an equation to everything. I see certain shots on Drag Race at the beginning of an episode, and I'm like, oh, they just foreshadowed the entire episode by the way they cut this thing. So like usually 5 minutes in, I turn to the person next to me like, okay, so this person's going to be in the bottom, this person's going to have more storyline this week, this person's going to go home, and either of these people are going to win. I'm usually always right.
That's so intriguing. Like I worked for 5-6 years of my life in like backstage and television shows, and still to this day I can watch a television show and not be able to tell you that stuff at all. Like I'm like so dumbfounded. Like if I hear a song on the radio, like my friends and stuff will be like, oh, those lyrics just really hit me. And I'm like, what lyrics? Like I thought the beat was great. I have no idea what they're saying. Do
you mean to tell me when you heard all you ladies pop your pussy like this for the first time, it didn't do something to you?
Well, that was very intriguing. Like that I understood. But like if you were to be like, what does rain on me mean? I don't know. Rain.
Oh my God.
some water's coming down on us and we're gonna dance. Like I love music videos. I'm like, okay, I'm a visual person. I'm like, that's what that song must mean. Don't know. Every time Britney Spears, she wanted to commit suicide in a bathtub. Like,
it's true. And that's why she's not allowed to have bathtubs.
Britney only has showers.
Britney Spears comes up, I would say just about every single episode of this. You can't put two gays in a room and not expect Britney.
I mean, I'm the biggest Britney. Wait, hold on 1 second.
Stop. Oh my God. If you're listening to the audio, I'm verklempt. Oh my God. I'm not even going to say what that was because I need people to go and watch the video. If you're in your car, in traffic, take your gay ass home. This is not a drill. And go to this part of the podcast and just see what I just witnessed. Where the fuck did you get that?
So, do you ever use like OfferUp or anything?
No, I'm terrified of scammers.
So when I moved to my new apartment, it was like 2 years ago, I went on OfferUp and I saw, like, I was like looking at everything, going through furniture, and then it was like a new item posted, and then it was like this Britney Spears cutout, and it was like $5, and I was like, why not? I'll go get it when I go pick up other stuff. So I picked up this cutout for $5. I don't know why.
Oh my God.
And I was like, maybe it'll be worth something.
That.
It's like the Pepsi days. So like,
yeah, it's to me the golden age of Britney. It's like 2001 to 2003. That was
the good age. Oh,
wow.
Where are pop stars today like that?
It's so hard. I love Britney, and I see younger queens who do like Britney illusions and call themselves Britney impersonators.
Derek
They
Barry.
do like Derica Barrica Simpson. I don't know Derek Barry, but she sounds like a good time.
She does sound like a good time.
I like that at least Derek Barry understands. Derek Barry has the vernacular and the experience of a gay person to understand the Britney's impact. Some of these like 22-year-old gays grew up listening to Blackout as like in elementary school. So they don't know what it's like to turn on the VMAs and see her come out and sing like a virgin or wear the snake or do like Overprotected with that latex purple suit. Like, first of all, Overprotected foreshadowed so much of what has happened to her.
Yeah, that's true.
I can't. I want you to know we're almost halfway through this shit and I haven't talked about a single thing that I have on my outline.
Guess you gotta get to it.
Sometimes it just doesn't happen. Sometimes I spend hours researching and preparing and then the whole hour is just spent on buttholes and then that's the episode. Which is my segue into my next topic, buttholes. What's up with that?
What's up with buttholes?
Buttholes. Neither butts nor holes. Discuss.
No, neither butts nor holes. Discuss?
No, I like to, that skit from SNL with Michael Myers where they play the old Jewish ladies and he starts to talk about something. He's in drag and he starts to say something and he goes, I just get a little verklempt.
Oh, yeah.
When I'm bored, I like to think of compound words and say, rainbows, neither rain nor bows. Discuss. James Lipton, neither a lip nor a ton. Discuss. Almost a ton, though, by the looks of him. Like, this is why the aliens don't talk to us.
Can you imagine?
The world is laughing at us. The universe is afraid to even approach us.
I would just love, like, you know how they say, like, storks bring babies when you were younger? I would love one day I, like, open my door and there's a baby alien.
Yes. And then it turns and it looks at you and it goes, oh my God, an alien. And you're like, bitch, don't do this. You're in my planet, bitch. This is my house. I wonder that though, because the universe is so vast and exponential and our solar system is like a pixel on like the full big picture of what existence is. So how can we be so naive and narcissistic to think that we're the only living thing?
I feel like you're extremely fun when you're high. These are very high
Oh
intellectual
yeah.
thoughts right now.
I just started doing the cannabis a few weeks ago.
Just like the marijuana. Okay, how has the cannabis experience been?
Um, I will say I have undergone a total I think I'm still in the middle of it. They say every 7 years the moon and your Saturn and Uranus and something in your bowels shifts and your outlook on life changes. And I am 27, approaching my 28th year of life. And they talk about how the 7 year switch, and usually there's one around 28 where your whole mindset and outlook on life changes. How old are you? Are you shy about that?
29.
Okay.
No, I'm 29. Yeah.
So you may be in the middle of it, whether you realize it or not, but it's a thing. And I think a lot of it manifested itself through this pandemic where I'm such a workaholic and I'm constantly like going and I'm doing things and I'm keeping myself busy. And then when I was suddenly, everything was taken and put to a halt. And I was forced to sit alone in my home with my thoughts for months. And it literally ripped me apart from the inside out. My pussy is still bleeding. And the only thing that made me feel like a person again was marijuana, meditation, and going the fuck outside for a walk.
Can you meditate? Can you meditate? Can you actually meditate?
I don't know that anybody truly can nowadays, but it's not about, to me, it's not about sitting through the entire meditation, be it 10 minutes or whatever, whether it's guided or on your own, and maintaining focus the whole time. It's learning the skill of saying, oh, I see you, thought. We're going to reel it back in now. It's that inner saboteur that RuPaul keeps talking about. It's that voice that's never going to go away, but he describes it as having to manifest a sort of counteractive voice to say,
Yeah.
hey, you're here, you're in my home, you're a temporary visitor, but you're not going to be bad company for me. You're just part of who I am. So that's how I'm trying to think about it.
That's a good point because I started doing therapy once we got into this lovely quarantine because I was like my thoughts, like you said, go everywhere. And I tried the meditation thing and I couldn't do it. And my therapist was like, you've talked to me before about like you take long car drives, like you drive your car, you don't listen to music. He was like, you're in your head in that moment. You're like going through things. He was like, not everybody has to sit on the ground, put your legs in Indian style, like whatever, and like, you know, like hum or meditate or whatever. He was like, everybody's meditation is different. It's literally just like you going through and having time. And I was like, wow.
It's so true. Whatever helps. I've learned the concept of unpacking things. So if I'm triggered by something in the past, maybe like a comment somebody would make, or the way somebody like reaches out and touches me, or like something like stupid shit, something I'll see on TV, or I'll just be, sometimes a thought will just come into my head and it would fuck with me to the point where like I would spiral into depression and anxiety for weeks. And I'm a working drag queen. I have to go and I have to be a light for people. So I would just go, okay, all right, hey. And I would just be like, never mind the man behind the curtain. And finally now I have nothing to distract from the curtain. So the curtain is just like wide open and now I'm just like, now I gotta deal with your ass.
Yeah.
Which is great, because I don't know that I would have had the strength or like mental capacity before to actually confront that. Because I've always just been like, no, we're going to keep busy. We're going to keep it moving. Life is not going to stop right now. And then it did. So.
Right at a halt.
Yeah. So I'm taking this time and I'm encouraging everybody that I come into contact with, because I know that it's obviously for a reason that I interact with the people I do at this time. Just, it's a blessing. It's a gift of time to do all the shit that we complained we didn't have time for before. So I'm trying to make the best of it. It's a shitty situation. I don't look at the news. I don't doom scroll on the Facebook, which is like a new term that's like making its way through the zeitgeist, where you just scroll through bad news and you just like, you feel terrible, but you can't stop scrolling.
Yeah.
I don't do that. You can't.
No, you can't. I have to, but you can't.
I mean, I catch myself like closing Facebook and then 10 seconds later opening it up again and then closing it and then going to Instagram. And then I'm there for an hour. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I could have gone for a walk. I could have like,
And now there's TikTok, and now there's like, and then you're just like, oh my gosh, and then the thing about TikTok, if you don't notice this, do you have TikTok?
I love TikTok.
Okay, I'm gonna turn the sound down. But what I noticed the other day is that on TikTok, there's no time frame on it. It doesn't tell
No.
you the time. So it's like this whole system. You think you're looking at TikTok for 10 minutes because the time isn't at the top of your phone.
It's like when you go to Morongo or the Bellagio and you don't know what day it is or what time it is. You just smell
Yes.
smoke and you're just like, all right, we're here.
Yeah.
That is fascinating. I don't know. I used to like I have like a pen and I do some edibles sometimes and I would do it like almost every day. Now I do it like maybe once a week and I plan it. I'll say, okay, today's my day where I'm just gonna like take a hit of this and I'm gonna watch old episodes of Lizzie McGuire and I'm just gonna laugh on the couch for hours. And that's it.
Yes, Lizzie McGuire.
It's just like you owe it to yourself and to the people
Yeah.
around you to have that time. So, I mean, I've had bad trips. I had a really bad, my first edible experience was awful. I like screamed and cried for like hours. But you know, then he finally pulls out and you feel great. So,
I was that your first edible experience?
yeah, it was a hybrid. I took too much.
Because my first edible experience, I was living in Atlanta. I was the first guy I'd ever dated, and he loved weed. And I was like, I was brought up so conservative and so Christian when I was like growing up, and like weed and alcohol were so bad. And he was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna make us brownies. You can try brownies for the first time. I was like, great, wonderful. And he puts on Family Guy, and I eat a brownie. He is enjoying his life. I'm like, what? I don't feel nothing. One brownie down, two brownie down, three brownie down. I had a total of 8 brownies because I was so mad.
Girl.
I got so aggravated that I didn't have a high that I was like, you know what? I'm going to go home. I got in my car. I went to drive. I somehow ran a red light. The cop pulls me over. Now the high hits. And I'm sitting there in the car and the cop's like, do you know why I pulled you over? I was like, I don't know. And Kesha, Your Love Is My Drug was playing on the radio. I started singing it to him. And he was like, what is going on? Ended up getting a ticket. I drive home and I became so paranoid. I scratched a hole in my leg.
And now you don't have a leg.
Now it's
You just pick up your prosthetic
I'm
leg.
taking the leg and throwing it.
The only thing fake on me is this.
The best part.
Oh gosh. No, we got this hybrid edible. It was 1,000 milligram brownie. And I took a sizable chunk, not really understanding like dosage and how that works. And I think I probably had like between 30 and 50 milligrams because I took a very small piece. But still now I don't do more than 10
Yeah,
milligrams of
no.
anything.
30 to 50 on your first. Ooh.
It hit me and it was like and like the tingles, like the ripply of my skin. And
You
like,
sounded like that song on TikTok. It's like.
yeah. It was that. That's what happened. And I was on the couch and I was like, fuck this edible. I don't feel shit. This shit is lame. It's my birthday. What the fuck? It's supposed to be about me. And then all of a sudden I was like, I can't move my arms. Help. I couldn't get up and walk to get water because my mouth was so dry.
That's the worst.
But now, like, you know, I don't do the indica unless I want to go to sleep.
Yeah.
But that I used to be totally like, ugh, about that whole thing because I just was like, no, I never want to feel a dependence on a physical substance or anything to like control my mind. I am in control. I am driving this car. But no, I think I've reached a point where like it helps.
Yeah, it does. And I think that too, like, I think that we kind of come to a point in our lives where it's like we understand the realm. I think once you understand the realm and you understand who you are as a person, like, it's okay. Like, when you're 10 years old, no. But like, when you kind of come to the being and you kind of come to the understanding.
Yeah. I'm a grown-ass man. Shit.
Yeah.
I'm a grown-ass whoa man.
Exactly.
Yes. We're about at the halfway point already.
Cool.
Have not discussed a single thing on the list.
Let's get to the list.
I mean, some of it's fine. It's tricky when I don't initially know somebody because I think, okay, I'm gonna over prepare for this because what if they're boring? Sometimes people are boring as shit, and so like then I have to do all the driving. But then there's some cases like this where it's just like, meh, whatever happens, happens. So if we get to the list, great. If we don't, whatever.
Is there anything from the list that you absolutely would love to discuss?
There are very special things on the list that in my research I don't think you've ever like talked about before.
Go at it.
Because, honey, this is where it all comes out.
Yeah, it comes out.
And then, some of us do too, hopefully. But we'll take like a quick little break, listen to this fabulous message from our many, 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 many lucrative sponsors. And we'll be back momentarily. So just don't go anywhere. You're in isolation. You don't have shit to do anyway. There's no excuse, okay? Bye.
Oh wow, hi. My name is Chico. I am a dog. Jordan and his lesbian life partner Joey are my parents. They think I am a good boy, even though I steal their fucking socks. Thank you for listening to my mommy's podcast Hey Gurl. Don't be a bitch. Rate and review this podcast on iTunes. And subscribe to Jordan's YouTube channel. If you don't, I will find you and take a shit in your bed. Period. Thank you. And let's get back to the show.
There I go, acting shocked that I've just pressed the record button once again and that it's doing its job. We are back, bitch. I got up. I walked over to the thermostat and sensually turned that shit down to a nice, blistering cold 69. Bitch is hot. This is 1.5 wigs. There's like
really?
It's a lace front, and then there's a second wig that I've zip tied into it that is just a wig without a lace front. And so it's like the separation is like there. You can kind of see it. But it's more hair.
Yeah. More hair is better.
Yeah. With men, with drag queens, with just
all the time.
All the time. Hair. How is your first of all, are you quarantined alone?
Yes, and I see my boyfriend normally on the weekends.
Oh, so you don't live together?
Mm-mm.
That sounds great sometimes.
It is great sometimes. It's just easy. We've been dating for just a year and a half, almost 2 years. So
okay, so it's still like
it's still kind of like in the new, and like we haven't like done all of that stuff yet. And then I think it'll get there eventually. But also he unfortunately like just got laid off at his job because of everything. So now he's trying to find something else. And I'm like, nah, now's not the right time to do all that,
Yeah. You're not like lesbians, like where your second date is at the U-Haul store.
Ready to go.
No, I have friends who do that. And it's interesting to me how gays will fall into the same trap over and over again. I'll be like, okay, you've been together for 6 months. I know you're apartment hunting, but we all saw what happened last time.
Yeah.
It's different. He's different, bitch. Log off. Goodbye. It's too much. I can't. That's another reason I block people.
Because they move in too fast?
It's just like gays are sometimes like so dumb. I also have a pet peeve about people who think they're funny. When especially gays do this thing where they think that being mean is comedy, and I don't play that.
Yeah.
Especially when like they say, "Oh, it's just a joke." I'm like, "It wasn't a joke when you were trying to be shady, calling me the T word or something stupid, thinking you're cute." And I'm over here like, "Hey, that's not nice. We don't say that. We don't do that."
Yeah.
And as somebody who like gets paid to be funny, I'm here to tell you that's not funny. Just don't be mean. I say that as I'm like being a raging bitch to every single person.
You get paid to do it though. That's the thing.
I guess. And I'm not like I do take issue with like people who are comedians who are just like mean with the things they say. I appreciate dark, calculated humor that's not so like it doesn't rely on the fact that it's terrible.
Yeah.
I love an AIDS and a cancer joke just as much as the next person, but if it's not like well crafted in the words that you use, I'm just like, okay, I don't know. Anywho's, where are you from though? Like, are you born? You're not born in California.
No, I was born and raised in lovely Memphis, Tennessee.
Not Tennessee.
Tennessee.
Is that how they say it there? Tennessee.
Just Tennessee. Yeah.
There's tornadoes in
Tornadoes
Tennessee.
all the time.
How many times have you heard the joke? Oh my gosh. No, hold on. There's a really stupid dad joke about the state of Tennessee. You're the only 10 I see. Something like,
It was so common when I moved to Atlanta and New York. I would be like, because I was born and raised in Tennessee, and then I moved to Atlanta for college. And when I was in college, I worked at a gay bar in Atlanta, and it was like a gay bar restaurant. And so many daddies, like, and also I was like, what, 20, 21 years old. And so many daddies would be like, oh my gosh, like, where's your accent? Where are you from? And I'd be like, oh, Tennessee. And they'd be like, you're the only 10 I see. And I was like, okay, that's the 5th time today I've heard that, but thank you.
You're like, I'm the only 10-year-old you see, sis.
Exactly.
We all go through that phase where we're like, I'm 18, I'm gonna fuck a 40-year-old.
Yeah, we all go through that. Like there's always the moment where you're like, you know, especially when you're younger, because you think that you're like the hot shit. Like everybody wants you, and you don't want anybody who's the same age as you. You want that older one just to be able to say it.
Your daddy doesn't love you, but he does.
Yeah.
And you just listen to one Lana Del Rey song, and now you have to do this.
Yeah.
To fully feel you. Like a person, you listen to Born to Die one time, and all of a sudden you're like, bearded men who smell bad and are like middle-aged with like masculinity complexes to the front.
Yeah.
Yeah. I went through that phase too where I was like, oh my God, your kids are like in their mid to late 20s and I'm like literally 18. Hot. You're older than my dad.
But that seems to be a trend on TikTok now, and I don't like it. Have you seen it?
No, what?
It's like these people, and they'll be doing like, don't judge our love. I was 18 and he was 63 when we first met. And then like they do like a collage of pictures, and I'm like,
ew. It's like the trying to kiss your best friend videos.
Yeah.
Those are weird.
Those are weird.
But also like as gays, most of us have slept with our best friends anyway. So
no, I think that's a pretty, that's probably like a good like 69%.
Ma'am? It's true. It's a thing. So you're from Tennessee. Where did you go after Tennessee? What was the next state?
Next state was Georgia.
I went to high school in Georgia.
Oh, really? Where about?
Carroll County.
Don't know where that is.
Well, great. It's like if Atlanta is here, it's like east of Atlanta, like right by the Alabama state line.
Okay.
It's like close to there. My parents still live there. It's great.
Do you like visiting?
For like a week. I do like a week every year and I'm good. And then I'm like, all right, people are staring. I have to go.
Yeah.
But how was your Georgia experience?
Georgia was good. I look back at a lot of things and I kind of wish that, you know, I would have come out earlier, because I didn't come out till I was like 21. And it didn't really hit me until I was 21. Like I remember, like, you know, I was growing up and like my family is very conservative and very Christian. And it was like, you know, I went to private school up until like 8th grade. And when I got into high school, like I like, you know, of course I would go to the Target and look at the underwear bulges, or like I would look at like gay porn, but it would only be like the guy like solo jerking off. And I would like put it in my head of like, oh, this is teaching me a technique, or like something like so stupid, like wrap your mind around. And then I got to Atlanta and I was in college, and I I mean, I am an introvert, but I was very, very introverted in my first 2 years of college. Like I didn't go out. I didn't go to parties. I didn't do anything. And I was like really finding who I was. And then I was in an acting class my junior year, and there's this guy, and I am still addicted to wearing tank tops. And there was this other guy, and he wore tank tops. And for some reason I was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna be best friends with that guy that wears tank tops. Like tank tops, so cool. And then like, started talking to him, figured out he was gay, and then like, rest is history.
And then you spit in his mouth and he said thank you.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Just like that.
We know what you actually are trying to say here. You took notes watching men jerk off so you could learn the proper form. You're like, it's all stroke and no squirt, mama. It's like blowing a baby boomer, girl.
Yeah. And then Atlanta was good. And then after college, I got an internship in New York, and I went to New York predominantly not for the internship because I met somebody on Twitter. That's why.
Okay. A boy?
Yeah, a boy.
You stupid bitch.
Yeah, I was a stupid bitch. And went there and lived there for about 3-4 years, and got to the point where I was like, why am I paying so much money for rent, so much money for groceries, so much money for everything? I can't even go out like on a Friday night and really enjoy myself because I'm pre-gaming with fucking Everclear, because it's so cheap. Like it's,
ew.
Yeah, gross. Like shame on me.
I don't even know what that is.
And then after that, I was like, I can't afford this and I'm not really enjoying myself. So I was like, you know what? I enjoyed Atlanta. Let me go back. So I went back to Atlanta for 6 months and said, this is awful. I'm moving to LA.
Was it Atlanta or Atlanta the sequel where you decided to go to the Apple store and make videos?
Oh my God, no! Atlanta's my last year in Atlanta for college.
This is an intervention. I've written you a letter. Why was that such a trend? Why did people do that?
I don't know. I got such a thrill of it because like I was like, oh my gosh, like YouTube's so big and I'm gonna be so popular, like, you know, and do these videos. And
same.
I got kicked out of every single Apple store. Like, and I'd be like, well, screw that. I'm gonna go to another one. And I like would literally went to every single Apple store and probably the 30-mile radius of Atlanta, Georgia, to like do these videos I don't know why.
Which is like 4.
Yeah. Well, it was a little, yeah. It was a little,
but it's still, you did a whole tour. You did your first press tour. Yeah.
Just hopping it down.
It's crazy. And you had a different choreography and different outfits for every tour stop. I don't know how you did it. These Voss girls wish. Aquaria is shook.
They are shook.
She just shat her tights. You are the original lip sync assassin.
Right?
Ugh. Yeah. Cameron Michaels who? What?
Cameron Michaels what?
Who is such an underrated lip sync assassin. She's incredible.
She is really, really good. She's really good.
Stunning.
Funny story about her. When I was in Tennessee, I had a vocal coach. And when I first came out as gay, the vocal coach from Tennessee messaged me on Facebook and was like, I know this gay person. They're a hairdresser. You guys would be perfect to date. And it was Cameron Michaels, but Dane, yeah. So that was funny.
And that did not happen.
I never messaged him. I was like, what?
Why not?
Because I thought it was just very bizarre to me. Like I wasn't even like fully like 100% out. And then this person's like, hey there, like date my friend. It's like,
he's like the hormone monster from Big Mouth all of a sudden.
Exactly.
Hey, grab her tits.
I'm a straight girl and I'm gonna put you in touch with another gay man. Like,
gross. Yeah, that's a thing. Have you seen those memes where it's like a girl holding 2 guys' heads together as they make out, and it's like it's like that. The 2 gay people I know, they must be married and make gay babies.
That was always the thing I hated. Like when people would say that, like you'd be at like a brunch or something, and like one of your girlfriends would be like, oh my gosh, I have the best friend. His name's like Daniel, and he'd be perfect. He's gay as well, and you're like, can you show me a picture? And then you have to like do that like fake smile. Oh yes, he's so cute.
Yep. That's happened to me before. I feel like every gay's been through that where they're straight. This is why I don't fuck with straight girls either. I have not necessarily, I don't think it's necessarily a red flag, but I always, whenever I had a friend who is gay, and I'm sure he listens to this, and all his friends were straight white girls from Orange County. And I would ask him like, hey, don't you ever just want to like be around other like gay people who relate to your problems and can like talk to you and empathize with you and understand the culture? And he was just like, no, they're like these girls are like my best friends. And I was just like, I can't imagine being around like Becky and Stephanie and Rachel and having to like, no. I got invited to a Christmas party, and when I got there, it was all like straight, like Becky's in this beautiful house somewhere. I don't know how the fuck I ended up there. And then my friend was like, oh, I guess he saw that I was kind of just quiet and not really like interacting very much besides like the people that I knew. And he was like, oh, guys, Jordan's a drag queen. And when I tell you, whoosh, can you teach me how to do eyeliner? Can you do this? It's just like, no, I don't know any of those things, but it's very that. I also know you are affiliated with The Walking Dead. You did something. Was this in Atlanta?
Yes, this also was
filmed there. In Smyrna, right?
Yeah, it wasn't.
Were they filming there?
Wow.
Bitch, I be knowing.
Good knowledge. When I originally moved to Atlanta, I wanted to be an actor. I got an agent. I was like, I am going to beat the shit. And one of my friends, I had done like some extra in a movie, and one of my friends who like was casting that aspect I became friends with later was like, there's a show, it's about zombies. It's probably not gonna do well. It's called The Walking Dead. She was like, do you wanna like, we need literally like 8 people to be the prominent like zombie force. And like, she was like, you're gonna have to go on audition. They're gonna do this whole training school. And I was like, training school, the what? So I went in, and then we had to literally do these training classes. If you go on YouTube and you type in like Walking Dead Zombie School, they have the training classes where you had to like walk weirdly and like, they'd be like, go slow, go fast, do whatever. Like, let me see a zombie look. So I'm like, okay.
It's Mae West directing.
Yeah. Yeah, so I was in the first episode of the first season of The Walking Dead, and I got my head shot off. And I was, I think, the first person to actually get like shot in the head or something. And it was a crazy experience. Like, I had a funnel in my mouth with fake blood in it. And so I was like walking slow, and then the funnel cord went down to the side. And once the bullet shot was supposed to happen, somebody in the corner like smacked it. So then all this blood perfused out.
Ooh.
Yeah. That was cool.
And you didn't win the Emmy in that category this year of the first person to get their head blown off.
Yes, exactly. You know,
you lost that to the Wiggles or the Teletubbies or something.
Yeah, I think it was the Wiggles for their fruit salad song.
It's yummy. You got to say it twice. Yummy, yummy. It's so good. You got to say it twice, bitch.
You have to.
For emphasis. I can't. My family lives close-ish to that area where they have like the Walking Dead like attraction now. I always say I'm gonna go, but I never do. I was into that show.
Really?
Every episode up until about season 6. It was around the time when, it might have been later, because I skipped ahead because I was like, this is too much. Too much is happening. And then around the time when Rick gets separated from the group, I don't know what happened after that. Did you watch the show?
I watched the first 2 seasons. The 3rd season I hated. Was it the 3rd one?
Was that the prison season where they lived in a prison?
I think that was the one. I didn't like that one. And then I think I watched 4. And then after that, I was like, I think it's like, I would get so angry because I always look at some TV shows from a logical standpoint. And I'm like, this has been going on for so long. And if I'm Joseph and I'm like, you know what? These people are going to bite me. And police have bulletproof vests, right? Why did nobody build like a crazy bulletproof vest all around their bodies where if they were to get bitten, it wouldn't go through?
Well, maybe they would look like those people at the theme park in the Velcro suits that stick to the wall.
Yes!
And they're just walking around looking like stick figures.
That's what I always thought. I was like, I mean, could be a little bit smarter.
I don't know. I used to love that show. I especially love the hot friend who fucked the wife. Shane, I think was his name.
Oh, yeah.
There's a scene where he's scalping him. He's like shaving his head and he's shirtless in the mirror in the bathroom. And he just like, the camera pans up and it's just like sweat. And like, I'm just, I ovulate thinking about it. It's so like,
pregnancy time.
It's okay. I'll take care of it like I did the last one. It's fine. I stay pregnant to avoid spending money on tampons.
Oh, that's a good point.
I'm going to get canceled.
Have you been afraid you're going to get canceled? That ever crossed your mind?
No, I like to joke about it because I think it's funny how cancel culture is just like, you did what? Kill yourself. Just, all right.
You're Shane Dawson? Screw you.
Have you been Shane Dawson this whole time?
This whole time.
I'm gonna unzip it. Oh no. But like that's a prime example of like morally, where do we draw the line? Yes, these offenses were so long ago, but there's quite a few.
I honestly think what it comes down to too, and I've said this so many times because we've had discussions about it like in other places. I believe everybody has messed up at some point in their life, whether it be humongous, like donning blackface at some point in your life, to something small where you say a word incorrectly or make a joke that is just very offensive. I believe that everybody has said something or done something. It all comes down to how you own up to it and how you apologize. If your apology is half-assed, no. If your apology doesn't look like it's coming from your heart, or you don't look like, and that's what these beauty influencers and people keep doing, nothing looks real. Like at the end of the day, that's what it comes down to. Like where was Shane Dawson's apology? Nowhere. And if you're being called out for it constantly, I think that that's the issue. Yeah.
And there's like instances where there was another person in the room who was saying to him, this is wrong. This is fucked up. And he'd be like, no, listen. And he would continue with it. So to me, I'm just like, I don't cut you the same slack that I like give. It's all subjective and case to case. And I'm a person of extreme privilege. So for me to sit and be like, this is forgivable, this is not, well, bitch, what the fuck do I know? I don't, if somebody makes a racist comment or a microaggression towards people of color, like, yeah, on paper, I am a person of color, but I experience the privilege of someone who is very white because I'm second generation. So my parents would use the term Americanized, which I don't really like because it's whitewashing, but it's like trying to make it sound more nice, but it's not. It's the reason why, like, when my dad's parents came to this country and they gave all of their kids biblical white sounding names, it's because they wanted them to have their resume in the stack and to get selected and it's not, to me, the solution doesn't lie in changing the name on the resume. It's changing the eyes that see the resume.
Exactly.
So that's just, it is what it is. I've worn a lot of Jeffree Star cosmetics. I'm not wearing any today, but you know, ever since all of that happened, people would say, oh, well, you're racist if you wear this makeup. And I'm just like, well, I understand that shit has happened. It's a phenomenal product. Do I intend on buying any more of it? No, but a palette will last me like a year. Exactly. I can't afford to throw it all away. If you're going to start a GoFundMe to cleanse my makeup cabinet of all the Jeffree Star, bitch, go for it.
Need a buyback program.
Yeah, that's just how I feel about it. Are you white?
I'm white, I think. Well, I really don't know. So very, very, very long story short. First of all, my boyfriend is Argentinian, but he looks white.
Okay.
But myself, I have no idea because I have taken a total of 5 DNA tests from multiple outlets, 23andMe, Ancestry, all of them. I did 23andMe. I was so excited. 8 weeks go by. I get a letter in the mail, and it's like, your DNA sample came back inconclusive. Please do another one. Send me another kit.
Oh my gosh.
Your DNA sample came back inconclusive a second time. Then they sent me another one. I did it. And they said, this is the third time your DNA has come back inconclusive. You can either A, do it one more time, and if it comes back the same way, you don't get your money back, or you get your money back. So I got my money back, and then I did Ancestry, same thing. I have no idea. I know that my mom's side is apparently Irish, and my dad's is apparently Cherokee Indian, but that's all I technically know.
Interesting. Maybe your results just came back as like a bottle of ranch dressing every time, and they didn't want to tell you. Maybe that's how white you are.
I take it.
It's just Hellman's mayonnaise. Well, it's known as Hellman's east of the Mississippi. Here it's Best Foods, mama.
Ah.
Which I noticed immediately when because, as a condiment connoisseur, you notice these things. Once you pass the Rocky Mountains, brand names change.
Yeah.
I don't understand why they can't just be Hellman's.
Exactly.
But it says on the label, it says known as Hellman's east of the Rocky or the Mississippi, whatever they say. Very strange. I am like fully Puerto Rican. Both of my parents are Puerto Rican. So like, I understand that maybe I don't look, but also like, what does Puerto Rican look like?
Alexis Mateo.
Bam! Who is lovely.
I've never met her. Is she?
Okay. I met her on the street in downtown. I was with two other drag queens that I know who are way more, at the time they were like, they probably still are way more well connected. Like she actually recognized them. Mm-hmm. And the three of us were out shopping and she went up to them and they do this thing, which is very sweet of them, where they go, oh, you know Jordan? And I had only been doing drag for like a year. Like I was just lucky to even be invited to the shopping trips with the girls who actually were working. And she was like, oh, hi, baby, so nice to see you. And she gave me a kiss on the cheek. And I was like, that's really sweet of you to pretend like you know me. But like, I was just like, that was really kind of her. Because I know she didn't know who I was.
Yeah.
And I know in her mind, there wasn't like, she didn't just confuse me for someone else. She was like, oh shit, I don't know this person, but this person, I'm just going to be very nice. So I appreciated that. Because some of these bitches are not nice.
There's some.
And I'll tell you about it later. But some of these girls like to, when I say, hi, how are you? Person I've met several times and have spent time with, blow cigarette smoke in my face and walk away. Mm-mm. Mm. Let me get in this mic. Don't do that shit. Because I'll remember. Okay? I never forget shit like that. There's been several like Rue Girl instances that I've had as I've like come up the ladder of drag in LA, where I'm like, oh, you did that. And I know why you did that. And I'm putting it in my back pocket.
Yeah.
That's all.
There's apparently some LA sisters here in this 13th season being filmed.
Allegedly.
I
can neither confirm or deny. There's several rumored LA girls on the 13th season. And first of all, to me, I'm just like, as long as somebody from LA gets on, I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Like, I just want LA represented.
I do want to know, though, like, how come anytime there's New York girls on Drag Race, the whole show concentrates on a New York craziness, but then if there's LA girls or other girls that are like more than one, like if there's 2 Chicago girls or 3 LA girls, like why does nobody give a crap? But then if it's New York, it's like, wow!
I think New York has a certain home field advantage to Drag Race, despite it ironically being filmed in LA and being based in LA, because so many of them make it on and they've held the crown for years, up until recently.
Sorry, it sounded like a vibrator was going off, but I think it was an electric power drill.
Did yours fall out?
It just fell out right now, sorry.
Well, it's been like 45 minutes. I don't know how you kept it in there this whole time. Shit. I just pull it out of my mouth like...
You're like, whoa!
Completely clean. Here you go. It's actually, I've killed 99.9% of bacteria on this thing.
You know what I would love to see a drag queen do? I've always said this, and I know that you're probably gonna be like, that would be impossible.
I already did that.
I would love how everybody on Drag Race and even like shows now, like people have some form of a reveal. I want the opposite. I want queens to put on clothes. I want somebody to start off in a nude bodysuit, and I'm like, what the fuck is going to happen at the end of this performance? And then at the end of the performance, bam.
Oh my God. I have to tell you something when we stop recording. Remind me as soon as we press stop, because I can't say it here. Ooh, oh gosh. You know, it's hard when you, I will say to any like queens who are starting out, whatever city you're in, you may feel pressured to join a drag family. And if you can find one that accepts you, great. But like, I don't. And sometimes it's hard because one, it's a blessing and a curse because you're not given rules. Mm-hmm. So like, if I would have joined a drag family, I'm sure they probably would have been like, you need to take dance classes, you need to be able to Vogue, you need to be able to, you know, wear this sort of beaded leotard and do this kind of music because this is how you make money in the club. But at the same time, it's kind of nice to just sit in the mirror and go, what do I feel like doing? What makes me like happy and fun and have a good time? And as somebody who's not like a club person, like I don't go to the club, I don't dance, I don't drink, I'm not a party person. To be put in that environment and be expected to like display art and theater that's going to excite those type of people. It's a very interesting like dichotomy of thought to be like, oh, I'm a man in a wig and you expect this. So how can I take your expectation and turn it against you and incite laughter from that? And then you give me money?
Yeah.
Bitch, who's gooped now?
Not Gwyneth Paltrow.
Not Gwyneth Paltrow. Though I am wearing a jade egg, and I have to say, I've never felt skinnier. I'm afraid I'll sneeze and it'll go up into my intestine, so I have to be careful. Oh my gosh. Before we go, I do need to address New York City. Mm-hmm. Since we've already brought it up. You lived there, and while you were there, you worked on The View, didn't you?
I did.
Tell us about what the fuck you did on The View.
So, The View was my first television job. I interned at Rachel Ray. Then I worked at The View. And I was at that time, I was an audience coordinator. So I was the person responsible for all the lovely people in the seats.
Oh, so it's your fault.
Yes, it was my fault. But it was a great, wonderful experience. It was the last year of Barbara Walters. Whoopi Goldberg was beautiful and wonderful. And then that was during the time that the whole changeover happened. So they fired Jenny McCarthy and Sherry Shepherd, and Barbara was leaving, and it was complete chaos. And I remember that like we read about it in TMZ, and then our executive producers told us like, no, the show's not changing at all. And then literally 5 hours later, we were all in a board meeting and everything was happening. And it was a crazy experience. It was really, really cool though. Like it was just to see all that stuff daily up front.
Oh my God. Did you enjoy The View? It's just a pun that I have to do it.
I did enjoy The View. I met some really cool celebrities. Like, you know, I think that's always a cool thing when you meet like cool people that are cool. Like my favorite person ever is Jennifer Coolidge, like to a degree.
Oh yeah.
Like,
that's my Jennifer Coolidge.
She got off for her segment and there was nobody there to lead her where to go. And she was about to go out the fire exit. And I was like, oh, no, let's bring you to your dressing room. And she's like, okay. And so we get her to her dressing room. She looked at me and she was like, is there somewhere around here I can get some Botox? And I was like, I don't.
She's like, it's the Botox.
Botox. And then she was like, and I was like, I don't know. And I said, I bet I can figure out for you. And she goes, what about weed? And I was like, oh, I guess, sure, girl. She was great.
We have no choice but to stand Jennifer Coolidge. This is a Jennifer Coolidge tribute podcast. I brought you here because I was waiting this whole hour.
And it will be the day when somebody does her correctly on Drag Race Snatch Game. I will be so excited. If somebody does her incorrectly, I'm walking out.
Yeah. Well, I have pitchforks ready. So we will march, bitch. Have you seen Juno Birch do Jennifer Coolidge?
No, but I love Juno Birch.
Okay, I'm trying to get Juno Birch on this program, and she's not responding to my emails. That's not very stunning. That's my Juno Birch impression. Juno Birch also is a fierce, like, queen and
Beautiful.
just human, and she's so funny, and her Jennifer Coolidge is the best I've ever seen.
I need to look at this when we're done.
It's on YouTube. It's fierce. And it's just like her with the from the Cinderella story where she's outside tanning and she's talking about the Norwegian salmon from Norwegia. And she's got her little those little tanning glasses.
Yeah.
It's so funny. And it's just like every great Jennifer Coolidge, it's I'm taking the dog, dumbass. Just she's great. Juno Birch is the premier. She's the Derek Barry of Jennifer Coolidge.
Yes.
So it's a wonderful, wonderful thing, and I'll send you the link when we're done here. I do want to ask, as we prepare to part ways, if you could speak to any person, living or dead, who?
One time somebody asked me a question similar to this, and I responded with the answer Jesus, because let me just tell you why. Because I want to know what the hell is going on at the time and if any of this shit is true, real, whatever. And I said this, and my boyfriend yelled at me forever for that answer.
Really?
So, yeah. Because I honestly, he was like, that's the most Southern, like, Christian answer you can give. And I was like, no, I honestly want to know, because the thing is that especially with history can be rewritten anyway over hundreds and hundreds of years. Like, what actually happened? Was this person like a crazy person like now? Like, if me right now, if I were to be like, oh my gosh, you know what? My father is God and I'm going to die on a cross. You would be like,
gosh.
The hell? Like, That's what would go through your head. So that is part of that, but no. I honestly would love to have a sit-down conversation. Doesn't have to be filmed, with Britney Spears. I would love it. I need it. I want to know what the hell is going on. I don't know if we ever will. And I just want to kiki and be best friends. I want to be that person she calls and she's like, you know what? Daddy Spears is being really mean to me. And I'm like, I'm here for you.
Same. I'm fascinated by that whole idea of like building the super. She is in a lot of like colloquial terms, the original superstar of the digital age.
Yeah.
So she was the example that every other girl who came after watched and said, okay, we don't want to do that.
Yeah.
So I get that. I want to talk to Jesus, and I guess like I just want him to enter the room, and once I see what skin color he is, I'll just be like, okay, thank you. This says everything I need to hear. And you can go now.
Yeah.
We know it's all a lie. But, the Bible is a wonderful piece of historical fiction.
Yeah.
It's beautifully written by the men who wrote it.
Also, if you're listening to this, anybody at home, on your car, whatever, just know that the Bible never says anything actually about hate or anything towards gay people. It was all rewritten in the 1920 to 1930s. It was translated. So please, guys, if your parents or anybody ever want to go against you or say something against you, pull up the facts, girl.
And then set them on fire.
Yes.
Thank you. A wise poet once said, thank you.
Thank you.
I would want to talk to, first of all, Lady Gaga.
Oh, yes, that'd be great.
And that's the kind of like, I've had conversations with people where like who they are celebrities. Maybe they've like been in the audience at a show that I've done and they like came backstage and spoke to me. And those sort of things like I never talk about because like that's fucking like, because sometimes it's like, sometimes somebody really connects with something or like it's somebody that there's been people who like in the past I've been really inspired by, and because I'm inspired by that person, it comes out in the work that I do. So if they happen to be walking down the street and see me performing something, of course it's going to resonate because, it's them. And there was an instance in particular where somebody happened to be in the room and they came up to me after the show. And when I saw this person, I was just like, what? And they were the nicest, sweetest. This has happened twice to me where they were just like, they totally got what I was doing. And I was just like, I am so glad you're exactly who I imagined you to be, because most people are not.
Yeah.
And I imagine Gaga to be that.
Yeah, I feel that way too. That's a hard thing. Like when your idols or anybody you look up to, or even just remotely have like this, oh, this person's gonna be great, and then that's the worst.
Yeah. There are certain podcasts I've had to unsubscribe to because I was in the room with somebody who was on there and they were really shitty to me. And I was just like, you literally don't even know me. I'm over here like doing my podcast, interviewing your friends.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'm giving too much detail, but it's just, just be nice to people. Just say hi. Don't give me a dirty look when I say hi to you. I get that so much. I'm just like, ooh, gross. But, Gaga, I would have like, first, like Gaga's such a deep thinker and such an artistic soul that like, I would just have a field day. We would talk about nothing and everything all at the same time.
Yeah. It
would just be like the trippiest conversation ever, and I would not be the same person afterwards.
Let's flip this question just for shits and giggles. If you were to go on a road trip with 3 other people in your car, who would it be?
Okay. Gaga. Because she's Gaga. Like,
yeah.
She's everything. I'm trying to think. Okay, I think Joan Rivers would be a lot of fun. She's a brilliant human. Oh my God. I'm trying to think of like a male figure that I really look up to. But I'm realizing that all men are trash, so I don't know. I also think like Adele or like Amy Winehouse or there's somebody who there's so many like brilliant thinkers that I just want to like RuPaul is somebody that I would love to just sit in a room and talk to.
Yeah.
Not even about drag, just about like life.
Yeah.
If I ever run into RuPaul on the streets, I'm literally like, if we ever have the chance to sit and talk, even if it's just for 3 minutes, I'm never the person who asks for a selfie. I always will go like, how's your day going? Because to me, that response will tell me everything I need to know about you.
Yeah.
When I met Chelsea Handler, she was the loveliest human being on the planet. And it was so different from what I was seeing on Chelsea lately. She made eye contact. She smiled. She like made an effort. She asked me questions. She spoke to me. She told me about her day. It was great. Some people don't do that.
Yeah, a lot of people don't.
Yeah, it would have to be like, if I'm in a car, it has to be somebody where I can be like, so do you believe that trees have leaves because they get cold sometimes? And why is it that when it gets cold, they take their leaves off? Don't they know that that's like, that's not how that works? I don't know. These are the things I think about.
But I love those things.
It's the best things.
Like I the other night, I went on the internet and I was like, do bugs sleep?
Well, do fish?
Right?
I think they do. I don't know. I Google everything. I Google words I don't know when I read books.
Yeah. I don't think I've read a book since the 5th grade.
Really?
I hated summer reading. When they forced us to read like those awful books over the summer.
Oh yeah, well those were shitty. Wow, wait, what was that? Oh, so that's how you trap a man.
Yeah, just like that.
And like there's always that kid who's like in the corner who's just like, ugh, nobody really like talks to that person.
Uh-huh.
I was always that kid, so like reading was a thing. Like I always had a Harry Potter book with me in school, and like I always was that kid. So as an adult, like you realize that if you were that kid as a kid, you're still gonna be that kid as an adult.
Yeah.
So like now I have books and I read all the time. It's the best. But, you know, social anxiety is what brings that child back. So I may be a fully grown woman on stage, and then I walk off stage and something will like in my mind will happen and I become that child again.
Yeah.
So it's hard for other people to reconcile with that when they see me and they see all of this and they come up to me And I'm so not in a place to be that person because I'm that 10-year-old kid with the high water pants in the Harry Potter book, just like screaming. It's that like the inner child and the inner saboteur and all that. Too much.
Weird.
Who's flattering? Oh gosh. You know what? I think this just about does it for us. Tell the people on the internet where they can find you.
You can find me on any social at Joseph, Joseph, A, letter A, and Shepherd, Shepherd. I have a lovely show on YouTube called Expose where I interview drag queens, and I'm going to be starting in the next month or so a more LGBT focused show going over things in history and moments and events that we may not necessarily know about or want to know more about, so like ball culture, Prop 8, all of that stuff. So that's that.
I love everything. I want to see that so badly. We need that.
Yes, we do. Especially, like, I think the one thing, I'll say this as we wrap out, but I think the one thing that I've learned, especially from, going out and going to Pride and going to all these things and celebrating who we are as the community, is that a lot of times we don't know things, or the younger generation may not know, or anybody may not know. And it's like, well, where do we come from? What is Stonewall? Like, like Derek Barry, like, oh, nobody was killed at Stonewall. Like, there's so many things that we don't necessarily know about because it's not taught to us. It's not in our history books. And then what do you want to do when you get home? You don't want to go online and be like, gay history. like, So I think there's a lot of things that we don't necessarily know about that have shaped and molded our community. So,
It's true. The terminology we use.
Yeah.
You watch an episode of RuPaul's Drag Race and think you know some shit.
Yeah.
Bitch, all the white gays are very offended right now. They're at a Starbucks not wearing a mask, at a pool party not wearing a mask. Like, how could you say that?
In the words of Jeffrey Barry Chapman, do better.
What the fuck was that about? Girl, you know what? It's a wrap. I gotta take my jewelry off. Take
it off.
Oh my gosh. Okay. This program is Hey Girl Pod on Instagram. You can follow me there. There's also an email address, heygirlpod@gmail.com, where you can send me questions, naked pictures, fan fiction, literally whatever you want, and I will read it on the program. We've gotten some very fabulous nude pictures, and we've discussed them. So please send them. You can do it anonymously. Also, I am Jordan Jayro. It rhymes with Jaylo. Don't fuck that up. It's 2 syllables. There's so many instances where people fuck that up. Just don't. I'm on Instagram as Jordan Jayro. Don't forget to email me, all that good shit. This intro has been a train wreck, much like the year 2020. So I'm just going to leave it alone. And it'll be better next time. Wait, this is an outro. It's not even an intro. I'm done. Wrap. I'm out. Get these fucking earrings off.
Wait.
Oh, hold on, wait. We're still recording.
Oh, screw it.
Okay, it's fine. I'll fix it later. I am sweating. Thank you so much for listening and for watching. We'll see you guys later. Bye. Oh my goodness.